Thank you all for joining us today in the second installment of Kolena's webinar series. Today, we're talking about loss run analysis with AI for underwriting at scale. I'll give you a quick agenda overview here. If you're not familiar with Kolena, we are going to do a quick overview of ourselves. It won't take very long. I know you all are here to see how we actually address this use case with AI. So most of the presentation will be spent in the product showing you that. So we're going to do a quick overview of Kolena. We're going to do a quick overview of the problem here, which you all are familiar with, but just to set the table. And then we'll show you the solution, which, spoiler alert, it's Kolena. And then we'll get into the live demonstration and have a Q&A session at the end where I'll have a couple asks of you all as well. So Kolena, the company has gone through a few different iterations, but right now we are focused on transforming document-heavy workflows with transparent and reliable AI so that you can focus on making decisions and not translating data from one document to another. It's very annoying. We cover a whole bunch of different use cases and a whole bunch of different industries. Obviously, today we are here to talk about loss run analysis, but within the insurance industry, claims processing, underwriting, and pricing, we do a lot of different things. We have a very flexible tool, as you'll see when we get into it. We cover a lot of different industries as well, too. So not just insurance, we get into banking, we get into real estate. So if you have friends in those industries and you see something they might like here, drop them a link and we'd love to talk to them. So let's get into this real quick because I don't want to spend too much time in our slides here today. I want to spend most of the time actually in the product showing you guys how it is operationally. Loss run analysis is blocked by a lot of manual inputs and tool friction. You get it in one format, but you have to put it into ImageWrite, or you get it in ImageWrite and you have to put it into your underwriting model. And it's just a lot of Command or Control C and copy paste. You're trying to change the formats, and it kind of takes a little bit of time. As you see here, indicated by my big red scary block in the middle here, you get mixed carrier formats, you have to rekey and normalize fields. So you have to put multiple formats into one view and on and on and on. And these things can take a lot of time for a small, simple one, maybe just 15 minutes by a person. But as you get into loss run analysis with, again, mixed carriers, multiple carriers, it can start taking multiple hours just for one analysis, which harms the business. You can't move as fast. You can't take on new business concurrently with existing business and a whole bunch of other things. In the meantime, your underwriting and quoting is kind of waiting on that analysis data. And the decision obviously is waiting on that. And so everything is blocked by this big red scary block here in the middle. Now, there are other AI tools out there. And so let's get it, which I'm sure many of you have tried. So let's talk about the second part of the problem here. As I personally know, and you probably know, a lot of companies have enterprise accounts at a lot of the flagship models, Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. And those are great. And I use them every single day. I use all of them every single day. I have my own personal subscriptions on top of the enterprise things. I love them. But there's problems when it comes to these document-heavy workflows. The first is one document at a time. You're not receiving one document from the carriers. You're receiving dozens to hundreds, and you need to process them much quicker than just going one at a time. Upload a file, write a prompt, upload the next file, write a prompt. The second problem is that they provide you responses in, its own format, which we're all familiar with here. One line of text, bullet, 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 line of text, bullet, 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 bullet. Free-form text responses, and it's not going to fit well into your template, your schema, or whatever tool that you're using. The fields aren't normalized, so as you know, carriers will have different fields. You'll see in the demonstration with the document package that I'm using, some carriers will say closed, or some carriers will just put a C for closed, an O for open. They'll do a whole bunch of different things. It works for their business, but it might not work for yours. And again, the flagship LLMs are not going to normalize the fields for you into your template. If you don't process one document at a time and you want to try and process all of the documents in this large document package, you're going to risk hallucination. As we've seen here at Kolena, and people have seen it at a lot of other companies and industries too, the larger the context that you provide the LLM, the more likely it is to hallucinate, provide you wrong answers, not be able to verify its answers. And what you really need is an audit trail or citations that tell you exactly where the answer came from for all of the values that were extracted. And again, I talked about this. You're just copy and pasting into other tools. Again, with Copilot, ChatGPT. Sure, it did some of the work for you, but again, you're still Command C, Command C, Command C. You want to direct export into the tools that you're using so you can do analysis now and not 25 minutes from now when you finally copy and pasted all of the answers in. These chat tools are built for conversation. They're built for ideation. They're not built for these repeatable, auditable loss run analysis workflows that you're here to learn about. And so, as I said at the beginning, spoiler alert, the solution, which is why you're here, is a specialized AI tool for insurance or for loss run analysis, which is what Kolena is here to provide. So you can think of this workflow as multiple specialized agents working in one workflow with your inputs, your template, and your destinations. This is a graphical representation of what you will see in just a minute here, as this is the last slide that I'm going to show you before we get into the demo. The inputs can be anything from a email inbox that is triggered and automatic, and the agent is triggered automatically by a new email coming in. It could be you just dropping your files in whenever you need it. It could be new files appearing in cloud storage like Dropbox or SharePoint. And then what you'll see here in the center are 3 boxes that kind of represent different extraction prompts. To look at things, there are about, I think, 15 in the demo I'm about to show you here. So this is a very simplified representation, but those 3 would run in concert, looking through all the documents that you provided to then get you to the end, which is your output, to provide the extractions that go into your output. And I'll show you that you can set up your own template in there. So all of the extractions get dropped into your template, into the tools you use, whether it be ImageWrite or your own Excel files, things like that. And so let me take a quick peek at our time, and let me take a quick peek at the chat. And I don't see anything coming in, so let me be annoying real quick and say, if you have any questions, which I'm sure you will as we go through the tool, please use the Q&A feature, use the webinar chat. We have teammates in the audience and here on the panel with me that are ready to answer any and all of your questions. So let's jump in here, shall we? So the slides covered the why, and now I'm going to show you the how we actually do it. And so what I'm showing you here is actually a fully built out account in Kolena. So you can see agents. Each of these boxes represents an agent. They're all addressing different use cases. Pertinent to this audience would be things like insurance policy checkers. I'm sure I'm missing some in here as I quickly do a screen. You've got your insurance claims processing, which I'm sure a lot of you would be interested to see. So again, another call to action, please reach out and we'll be able to show you this one. Yes, Bill, I will be sending you a recording. Please feel free to share it with everyone. You'll get the recording of this webinar about an hour after it's done. Thank you for your question there. And so think of an agent. These are all represent agents. Think of it as a specialized teammate that runs the same workflow over and over. So if I was to click into one of these, you would see this. And this is the anatomy of the agents in Kolena. This is a demo agent that I set up specifically for our purposes today. And it actually mimics a public agent that we have on our website. We have a good collection of free public tools on our website that you can utilize. Loss run analysis is one of the agents we have public. My colleague Molly will be dropping a link in there shortly if you'd like to try it out. It's very simple. You just drop your documents in on the website and enter your email, and you'll get the output sent directly to your email. And I guarantee you, if you do it right now, you'll get that output before I'm even done doing this demo here, which is pretty cool. So back to the demo here. There are three main points, as I showed on the slide here: the input, and then what is the most exciting are the extraction prompts here. So you can see some of the things that you can input. You can upload files just normally, and I will be uploading some files so we can see this run live here in a second after I walk through this. There are a whole bunch of extraction prompts in here that have different purposes, and as you can see on the right, different forms. So we'll have table formats, we'll have plain text formats, you can have numbers. So it'll come out unlike some of the flagship LLMs, it'll come out in the format that you need to have to be usable in your workflows. And then you'll have the output. So we have a templated output. I'll show you at the very end what that looks like, but it's really easy to just add your own template. You can add a destination if you want it sent directly to an email inbox, things like that. It's a very, very flexible tool. And so as we know, the documents that you receive do not show up in a uniform way, as I've mentioned a few times. What I'm going to do right now, real quick. Oh, excuse me, that's the wrong thing I clicked on there. I'm going to drop in a package of documents that I prepared specifically for this demo. And that's too many documents. Sorry about that, folks. We're going to grab the correct one here, and then we're going to keep this moving. Sorry about the delay right there. Here we go. All right. I'll go through these and you'll be able to actually see what these documents look like once I click in, but I'm going to start the run with all of the documents grouped together. And we're going to run this live. So you'll be able to see this one's running. This one I ran yesterday in preparation for this presentation. And so we're going to click in and check it out. So as I mentioned time and time again, the documents do not come in uniform formats. I'm using synthetic package of documents that try and mimic that. And so we've got PDFs, we've got spreadsheets, we've got images. You can see this is a loss run, auto insurance. This is for supplemental. We've got umbrella insurance here that looks really ugly because it's scanned and all crooked. And sometimes this can be hard for humans to read, even if you zoom in. And so we'll see how the AI does with that. Another PDF, another Excel document. And this is kind of what I mentioned before with the claim status. Sometimes the claim status is COR, or it could be written out as closed, like back here on this one in the status column. And so just wanted to give you a quick run through of the documents and show you that we're not trying to make this perfect. We're not trying to make it pretty because your jobs are not perfect and the documents you receive are not pretty. So let's take a look at one of the prompts. So as you see on the side here, we have 14 prompts that are running extractions. Well, in this case, I've already run, and we're going to click into first the claim type summary prompt, and I'll show you the anatomy in there because this is a pretty cool one. And so this is the output that comes from the prompt. And first, let me show you the prompt down here. This is the prompt that we have, and this is, again, is the public loss run agent that we have. We want to create it, and this will be, if you drop your own documents in, this will be the prompt that is used for this specific extraction as well. So you want to create a table summarizing claims data by period, claim loss type, and then there's some other qualifiers down here, format monetary values, with 2 decimal places, calculate percentages as decimal numbers, which, as an aside, we can do a little more than just extract. We can actually do calculations. We can do analysis, which I actually will show you in another prompt here in a second. So it's not just taking one piece of information out of these documents and putting it somewhere else. We can actually take a piece of information from one document and 2 other documents and put them all together in the right way to get you what your output want. Just depends on how we write the prompt. The second thing that I'd like to show here is the outputs up here. So you can see that the outputs, we've got policy period, claim loss type, the number of claims, total paid, and percentage as we dictated down below. Now, the thing that I really want to bring your attention towards is the citation section, because as I mentioned at the top, we want to create AI that you can trust. We want to create an auditable, I'm going to say audit again, an audit trail, a trusted audit trail that you can rely upon for your work, and you don't have to go back and check every single input that comes in here. So as you click, let me change this window a little bit. As you click on the citation, it'll actually take you to the exact document and place where it pulled the information from. And it's really cool when a field like this one, there's 14 general liability claims here, has multiple citations. And so it'll actually take me to page 2 of that first document. You can see the auto scroll takes you right to where it is. So you can do some QA and double check your work and then check this other one. All right, those do match up. The other thing that I really want to pull your attention towards is the reasoning factor. Now, this helps with quality assurance a lot, and we have this on every single prompt. The agent with the prompt will show you exactly what it did and why it did it. So I won't read through this whole thing here, but it takes out, okay, I'm going to extract the claims data, and then these are the properties that I'm looking for and the paid amounts. And then it goes through page by page. You can see here, carrier A, carrier B, GL supplemental, carrier C loss run, umbrella, and tells you what it pulled from every single place to get to the answers that you have above in your template, or in the output there, excuse me. Okay, and now let's look at one other one that I want to show you that is very impressive to me, is the risk assessment. And so as I mentioned, we're not just pulling information, we can actually do kind of analysis and calculations. And so here's the prompt again, real quickly. We want to analyze the loss run report to assess any risks. So we're looking at physical altercations mentioned, injury patterns, large claim amounts, all the way down. And so we're actually reading through the text, and the agent is determining whether or not some of the text or descriptions meet these criteria. And you can see up here the risk categories that it goes through, and then some of the description and evidence and explanation that it has. And again, with the citations, this is another great example here with our citations and our auditability. It used every single document that's in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, to come to this determination. That there's no specific information. So instead of having one of you, I'm going to pick out someone from the audience, Ann Watson. Instead of having Ann Watson read through 5 documents, which is actually, there's, I think, 10 or 11 total pages in here. Instead of having you scanning through all of that and then coming to this determination yourself, all you have to do is drop it into the agent, and then you just have to read these boxes. And if you don't trust it, you can click around a little bit, and all right, now I've verified it. You can read the reasoning. And this takes you 30 seconds rather than probably 30 minutes for this one section. So shout out Ann for using our tool really well. Let me double check my time real quick here. We are doing good. One other thing I want to highlight in the product here is you can actually edit these prompts. And so when you have your own Kolena account, you can come in here, you can change the prompt name, you can actually change the prompt if you want it to be, if you want the output to be in a different format, you can provide those details here. So these are not set in stone. It's a very flexible product. You can actually see here, we had 3 different versions of this prompt on this public agent that I'm mimicking right now. And so really cool. And also it's very, very easy to, let me close this, to create a new prompt if you wanted to extract something new from these documents, like some sort of summary information. We have total of claims paid, claims in litigation. If there's something you want to find out on this run of documents, you can add a new prompt and create that run again. So let's quickly go back, as I've been talking here just for a few minutes, it feels like, maybe longer. This is the other run that we ran. I ran it 7 minutes ago, it says, and already completed. And so those 12 pages, 4 documents that I created, or that I dropped in there, have already been analyzed. All the information's already been extracted, and now you're ready to output it into I won't download both runs, excuse me, clicking around too much here. And I'll actually download it to a PDF so that you can see the outputs, and then make sure that I'm sharing the proper screen here. I don't want to drop. Here we go. And this is what the output looks like. And this is what will be delivered to your inbox if you choose to use the public loss run agent that we have on our website at the link that my colleague Molly shared. It's about 23 pages of information. If you have your own Kolena account, you're able to actually change the format at which this is delivered. So let us know if this looks pretty interesting to you. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time scrolling through this because that's not very fun for a webinar. But yeah, so that's how it works. That's how everything works in here. Let me check the chat and check in with Mohammed and see if I missed anything in this presentation, because we are getting close to the end, and I actually spoke a little fast, so I hope everyone heard me because I'm a little ahead of time here. But finally, I've got some calls to action that every marketing person puts in a webinar at the end. But first off, I want to draw your attention to this section here. These are legit real stats from a customer who is not allowing us to use their name at this time, but they weren't even able to, this box is my favorite, they weren't even able to process renewals and new submissions concurrently with the team that they had. And they weren't able to hire new headcount. So what they did instead is that they used us for their loss run analysis. And now they can do those things concurrently. Their processing speed is increased. They're turning things around much faster. And then a couple questions that we always get is accuracy and quality assurance and data security and privacy. We don't store any data. We have a zero data retention policy. You can change the data retention policies in your account as well too. We do quick nod to our previous iteration as a company with accuracy and quality assurance. We were historically a LLM benchmarking company, and so we were actually evaluating the accuracy and quality of some of the flagship models. And so we do that. We do benchmarking on the back end of our product continuously to make sure that it's up to snuff for your work. Yeah. And that's all I have for you today. The last three things I'd like to say in the top right here, Molly put the link in the chat. Public agent, there's no sign up. All it costs is an email and just drop your documents in. We don't store those documents either. Again, zero data retention. If you'd like to see more and you'd like to see it in we can tailor a demo to your specific environment, please scan the QR code with your phone, or if you'd rather click a link, my colleague Molly just dropped that in as well. And then finally, something that's a little personal for me is our newsletter that I run here at Kolena, the Kolena Brief. We have a different theme each month because, as I said at the top, we cover a lot of different industries. And this month's February, which came out a couple weeks ago now, they come out first Wednesday of every month, by the way. It was insurance focused. And so we actually went into detail in text form this exact presentation that you just saw, and then we highlighted some other things. Go check it out. There's a few different sections that we do every single month. Comes out the first Wednesday of every month if you are interested in that. So I see no outstanding questions. I see no chats unanswered. And so that's our time. I'll hang out for 5 more minutes in case anyone has any more questions. I know I rushed through this a little bit. Thank you all for being here, and I hope to see you at edition 3. And there's a question. See, Kendra, I just knew it. I knew we would have a question. And Mohammed, I think we'll be able to answer that. And since we're done with the presentation, Mohammed, if you'd like to come off mute, you're welcome to answer live here.
Yeah, Kendra, let me read the question. Do you have insurance experts on staff? Yes, I'll answer more of that. I know some companies you get that they would necessarily for the connection to ensure. Yes, Kendra, we actually have insurance experts. Think of them as their AI adoption partners. Every customer, when we start engaging with them, we start with a 2-week free trial, and we assign an AI architect that works with you. They are experts in the domain, so for insurance and for real estate. So yes, we will assign an AI architect who is expert in the domain to work with you during the POC to proof of concept, to show you how to set up agents for your cases, and they set them up for you and show you the ROI for that. And then until the end of February, we any customer who engages with us until the end of February, they get 3 months out of no cost after the POC of the AI architect. So we pair with you during the 2 weeks free proof of concept and 3 months after that to make sure that AI adoption is done smoothly with your team and other teams that train through this time.
Cool. Thanks, Mohammed. And thanks, Kendra, for your question. I know that I am not the expert. I am not the solution architect that will be paired. We do have experts on staff that are a little more knowledgeable than myself. All right. If there's no other questions, I see people dropping. It looks like this is the end. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you, Bill, for being here. Mohammed, thanks for being on with me. Appreciate everyone's help on the team, and I'll talk to y'all later.